70s basketball player, anticipating its release, but the fighting styles I needed to define its words. I worked hard on construction in LA, then got an undefined word about the space program, the DSS, which can be a digital satellite or digital sound surround system. Once I gradually learned about satellites, rockets, orbits, I stopped being so angry. And the fighting sequence in the fighting featurette, defining extraneous in the year 1998, and Star Wars 1 was released in the year 2001. My after were there, Man on the Moon, defining what a rocket or a satellite was, which took some studying and looking. There has to be some important reason why you don't define these things, and mine was a higher priority, defining the word debase. You could say that was the real Phantom Menace for me, 1991 to now, for 20 years. But you see him, Phantom Menace, with a two-edged lightsaber. You might say 1991 to 2021, when debase cleared, I felt like a guy with a two-edged lightsaber until you figure out what's troubling you. Then you feel like a Jedi Knight, defending the galaxy, defining the styles of fighting covered in the second DVD and the fighting featurette. After I studied and defined pin feathers and gantry was defined after I did construction work and got a good reality of heavy 6-inch diameter plumbing pipes by working with such big and massive piping, not your household 1-inch diameter pipes. With a reality on those fighting swords, the names of the style, because the point of a sword is similar in shape to a pointing upward gantry, or the immature feather just breaking through the skin. Pin feather, also called blood feather because it's red color. I study rockets and define the nose cone, and really stop being so angry. It's been a journey in learning, and not being pissed. Again, debase is my real Phantom Menace. It was defined through the defining unsullied, defining squeaky clean, the image of the music duo Richard and Karen Carpenter. Our parents had to be wise to survive their times. Ours too can be survived. The fighting and struggling like the warriors, good and bad, against each other can be fun in your teens and 20s, even 30s. In your 40s, you should make some time to study stuff like DSS, or any undefined word that needs attention. But handle life before it handles you. Defeat your Phantom Menace. Win your bets in life. Just like this movie. George Lucas had my attention from Star Wars 4, 1977. The long wait for Episode 1, 13-year wait, came. My life quality was seriously troubled, materialistically, as I saw it. From 1991 on, financially, administration was worse. There were also improvements. I used the curiosity over waiting for this episode as something to improve myself, like a pilgrimage sort of thing. Also, L. Ron Hubbard. 1980, wrote Battlefield Earth. Science fiction, too. Helped in the pilgrimage for being literate. I needed to study 2 sword-fighting words and define them, and I evolved myself an IQ to define them, and doing so, I became a warrior in these troubled times we live in. Knowing what sword-fighting our ancestors were into, Lucas makes use of their styles for the fighting. Yes, for a Chinese person like me, it takes some learning to learn what kind of styles of sword-fighting are, to get that civilized to pick one up. Gantry, defined, is the key for me, because the shape of a sword is still solid, like the gantry for building a space rocket. I mean, you have to get that real. Pin feathers from a genius cartoon, Disney, the last one he made. Sword in the Stone, too. So our modern-day inspiring movies have a lot of background, and yes, it's very, very important to define. If you watch the fighting featurette, it shows how far our leaders are ahead of us to lead us. They know how our ancestors fought. Yes, you can question their ways, compare them with what we're up to. Well, in 2001, he put it out. I asked to know about it. I didn't want to see it then. 2006, it was unwise for me to turn on the sound. But I did. And in 2021, I defined the words I needed to, and became civilized compared to the past 15 years since. Because, yes, when you advance to sword fighting, there's a technology to it. Gantry and pin feathers need to be defined first. Odd, but true for me. Karen.
We liked Jar Jar Binks. It was good. Cute characters.
Star Wars,
It was
Episode
good.
1, The Phantom
Jar Jar
Menace,
Binks helped
widescreen
save the
edition.
day.